Hey guys, welcome to the Connect Network TV. Super excited for today's episode. We're doing something a little different today. Our girls are off. So Terry Kauser, who is our host for the Connect Network TV for Major Impact on the CW, is pulling up today talking with Stacey Luces, who is discussing DEI, women in business, and women in entrepreneurship. You won't want to miss this episode.
Welcome to Major Impact right here on the CW. I am your host, Terry Kauser, and recent years have seen a significant increase in Black-owned businesses. This trend presents an opportunity to build wealth within our community. It is money-making season, so get inspired. And I have some statistics to share with you because as of 2022, the share of Black households owning a business more than doubled from 5% to 11% in 2019. And in 2023, there was an estimated 3.7 million, Black-owned businesses in the United States. That represents 11.3% of all businesses, but there's more. From 2017 to 2020, the number of Black-owned businesses increased by 13.64%, and that outpaced the overall business growth rate of only 0.53%. Now let's bring these stats up because as of 2024, Black business owners employed more than 1.2 million, representing an annual increase of over 7% in employment. If you are an entrepreneur, aspiring entrepreneur, investor, if you have a side hustle you want to grow, let me tell you, now is the time. And this is also very timely because, as many of you know, now that President Trump's executive orders have significantly altered the landscape for diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI initiatives. So particularly affecting federal agencies, contractors, and potentially affecting and influencing even the private sectors, guys. And so this is real, right? So let's talk about some new information based on these executive orders. So federal agencies and contractors are now prohibited from maintaining DEI programs or considering race, color, sex, sexual preference, religion, or national origin when hiring employment practices. And so there's more. And guys, stay on top of this information because it's impacting so many people in different ways. And so the Office of the Federal Contract Compliance Program, the OFCCP, has been directed to cease enforcing affirmative action requirements and promoting diversity among federal contractors. Now, let me tell you how this is so significant because even as entrepreneurs and small business owners, a lot of those brands grow based on getting a number of federal contracts. And so this is going to affect everybody. And Executive Order 11246, which had required affirmative action and anti-discrimination measures for federal contractors since 1965, has been revoked. Okay, and so these are some of the things that you need to know. These changes represent a significant shift, in federal policy regarding DEI efforts, potentially affecting both the public and private sector practices. And so depending on your business, your company, you may need to kind of reassess your DEI strategies to ensure compliance with the new federal stance while also considering potential state level regulations that may differ. So the takeaway, it's important to keep your ears to the street and to stay educated so your business is intentional and also continues to thrive. And so coming up next, guys, stay tuned. We have an insightful discussion with Stacey Luces. And if in 2025 you are committed to authentic leadership, overcoming burnout, and building community, especially as a woman of color founder, this is for you.
In today's digital world, your social media presence is crucial. But it's not just about posting randomly. It's about creating content that connects, engages, and drives results. That's where we come in. We handle everything from content creation to distribution, helping you grow your community, boost brand awareness, and drive conversions. Our team creates compelling content from eye-catching visuals to engaging copy, all designed to make your brand stand out. We ensure every post sparks conversation and tells your unique story. We also manage distribution, ensuring your content reaches the right audience at the right time on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn. With our team handling everything, you can focus on running your business while we drive your social media success. Ready to elevate your social media strategy? Get started today at theconnectonline.com/services.
I'm Jessica Cherry, founder of the award-winning blog Life of a Cherry Wife. If you're looking to follow for mom and lifestyle content, fashion, Latina life, and good vibes, this is the place for you. Head over to www.lifeofacherrywife.com for the latest in these areas. Follow me on social at Life of a Cherry Wife.
Stop repeating yourself. If you're explaining your services over and over or hopping on calls without an explainer video, you're missing out. Explainer videos save you time and make you money. These videos help you communicate your message clearly and concisely. We simplify complex ideas and make your message memorable with stunning visuals, clear narration, and captivating animations. Explainer videos don't just inform, they engage, excite, and inspire action, boosting brand awareness and driving conversions. Why keep explaining when a video can do the work for you? Get started today at theconnectonline.com/services and let's create an explainer video that transforms your business.
Starting a podcast might seem overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. At the Connect Network TV, we've created a simple, seamless process to get your podcast from idea to reality. Within the first 10 days, we help set the tone for your podcast. This includes defining your unique vibe, designing a stunning cover image that reflects your personality or brand, and selecting licensed music to create a professional, polished sound. Next, we handle the technical details. We register your podcast across all major platforms, optimizing it for maximum visibility and reach. Your audience will be able to tune in no matter where they are. From concept to post-production, we take care of every detail. Our experienced team ensures your podcast is not just professional, but impactful, leaving listeners with an experience they'll want to return to again and again. Podcasting doesn't have to be complicated. At the Connect Network TV, we make it simple, seamless, and stress-free, so you can focus on what you do best, sharing your story.
Welcome back to Major Impact on the Connect Network TV. We have a very special guest joining us today, a leadership coach and business strategist who's transforming women midlife and empowering them to redesign their second act. We are super thrilled to welcome Stacey Luces to the show. Stacey, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Look, and you are right on time because I need all of this information, and I know that our viewers do too. And so through empowerment and authentic leadership, discuss how embracing authenticity can transform leadership styles and drive personal professional success. So specifically, Stacey, can you elaborate on the importance of authenticity in leadership, particularly with women of color?
Yeah, a couple of my favorite topics. So, I think we're living in a time, especially with social media, where we want things to be more authentic. We want to feel like we're interacting with real people, real brands, feel the real spirit of what's happening. And I think leadership in and of itself, we've kind of redefined that, and we want to interact with a leader and a leadership style that's really more honest. It feels vulnerable, and it feels like not only is there a general sense of purpose, but we are a part of that purpose. I think that leaders that embrace authenticity, it builds trust, it fosters connections, and it really inspires us to just show up as our best, right? I think from an innovation perspective too, when we feel more confident and more authentic in the leader who has our back, we bring our best selves to the table. There's no holding back. And so I think if we can model kind of that innovation, that resilience, and that vulnerability, I think it inspires others to be courageous too. For women of color, so I am a woman of color, much like you, and I know from my 25 years in federal service, in private sector, and all of those things, it was hard. It was hard not to feel like I had to code switch or wear, the perfect smile or the perfect hair or the perfect blue suit to kind of be taken seriously. So I think that reclaiming these spaces, reclaiming our voices, especially if that narrative has been sort of historically marginalized, is really, really important. I think that there are cultural expectations for us in that dumping of our identity. And so working on being brave enough and being courageous enough to show our true selves without fear of judgment is still a work in progress for many of us. The executives that I work with, I mean, you'd be surprised. They are lawyers, doctors, psychologists, all struggling with the same thing. I think sometimes there's a stereotypical view of a person, and we also have to, overcome those too. And of course, lack of representation. I feel like the first news anchor that I saw who looked like me, I was in shock. I think I was about 11, and for the longest time, I wanted to be a news anchor. But, that creates spaces of belonging. So I think it's important that we are able to do that and contribute in a higher way to society and our organizations.
So thank you so much for that information. It's very, very timely. And there is a lot going on right now. We just kind of discussed about Trump and DEI and all of these new regulations going away. And so in your opinion, how do leaders kind of embrace this new culture where DEI is no longer a thing?
It's so complex, right? And the bottom line is, I posted something on LinkedIn last night, actually, and I hesitated to post it. And I wrote in my post that I hesitated, and that is what chilled me. Like, that felt really cold, and that felt scary, that I was hesitating to post something about something so important to me. And so I think these policy changes really signal a challenge to the principles of authenticity and belonging. And I think for all leaders, not just leaders of color or leaders that embrace DEI, this moment really is one where we can step into the integrity of what it means to truly belong and to be accepted for our whole selves, right? And as an immigrant, as a woman of color, I'm a mom of teenagers. I've got an 18-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son. I'm still grappling with helping them feel like they're included. And so all of these things strike a deeply personal chord for me. I've been in spaces where I was on the board of directors for UN Women. I led a federal emergency resource group, a FERG, at the Department of Homeland Security. We had about 1,200 members from across the country. I've done work with underserved communities. And so I feel like my entire life, my brand right now is about living authentically, leading courageously, and showing up as our best selves. And so navigating the complexity of this, navigating our own fears about it, it's really powerful, but it's also, it speaks to what we've been conditioned not to do, which is hold our voices back.
That's so good. And I just want to thank you for being transparent about that, because that's why we have these discussions. That's why we have platforms like this, because there are other people on the other side that with their brands, with their social media, even they're going to have this little bit of struggle that we didn't have before about how authentic do I be? Am I going to offend people? Am I staying?
Am I going to get canceled?
Am I going to get canceled? Just all of these things. And so I really appreciate, look, you are staying true to your brand about being authentic. I really appreciate you not only posting it, but saying, hey guys, I also hesitated, and here's why. Because then you're going to get other people saying, you know what, I did not know what to say. I was going to hesitate. You just even help you helped me. So I thank you for that. And so and complex is the word for the situation. And so let's switch gears, because you just talked about, your brand, but also the complexity being with your children and making sure that they feel included. So that leads us to, overcoming burnout, especially as female founders and entrepreneurs. We wear so many hats: mom, wife, friend, auntie, and then forget trying to find our own me time, right? And so how does your coaching approach help women leaders overcome burnout and reclaim their power?
Yeah. I mean, my burnout is linked intrinsically to everything we just talked about, which is working 4 times as hard, being 2 times as educated as some of my peers, like staying later than everybody. And I think that over decades, I'll speak for a woman in midlife, I'm in my 40s, that is where the rubber, literally hit the road. And so for me, my burnout escalated into a real life situation where I had emergency surgery and flatlined twice. And so I literally had to die and come back to sort of get real with myself about what was necessary. That burnout isn't just this fancy word where you take a day off and you maybe go to the spa. It's more than exhaustion, right? It's a signal that your way of being and living, the very essence of you, is out of alignment. And so I think for women leaders, you know, also in particular women of color, juggling some of these high stake responsibilities, the higher up we go, in addition to having kids, or even if you don't have kids, but also generationally, we really take care of our elders. And so this sandwich generation, Rob, comes into play. And it comes from this pressure to meet sometimes impossible expectations, but also silencing our own needs, staying quiet, living in fear of being rejected or judged. And so my coaching is really rooted in helping women not be or not have the almost ending that I had, where I almost died and didn't get to see my kids grow up. And so part of my coaching has a real urgency around it, right? And I think women come to me when they are at a boiling point. So 60% of us in midlife are struggling with anxiety and depression. I think 40% of us are struggling with sleeplessness. And all of these things, taken separately, is serious, but taken together as a whole, on top of maybe financial pressures, they really lead to a cry for help on the inside, right? So a couple of things that we talk about, how to rediscover and sort of live your authentic kind of life, right? How to reconnect with your true self, how to uncover your core values. What does it mean to let go of all of the shoulds, right, that are imposed on others? Reclaiming your boundaries. I don't know about you, but I have a hard time saying no to anybody that looks and smells like they need help.
Yes.
And so really kind of recapturing who's in my relationship circle. What do my networks look like? What do I need in terms of like financial boundaries, right? Because a lot of us want to help everybody that comes to our door. And the other big one is, and this is the one that changed my life, was redefining what success meant. It wasn't the big title. It wasn't the high six-figure salary. It wasn't the like federal job where I could have easily stayed for 20 more years. It really was recreating a version of success for me that integrated all the parts of my life. And that's what I really help leaders, but specifically women, and more specifically women of color, do.
So you said so much right there. And let me just tell you, I'm like, does she know me? Because I have issues with sleeping at night. Like, we do so much, right?
Yeah.
And so one thing that you said that really stuck with me and probably so many of our viewers is urgency. Like, stop ignoring these things. And then here you saw a problem, you put together a solution with your coaching. And I really, really appreciate that. And so let's talk a little bit about, this fabulous community, right? The power of community. And so can you share, the inspiration behind your podcast, Beyond the Quo? What can listeners expect to gain from tuning in?
Yeah, there's this little story. I'll just ask you the question. If you had to have major surgery and I said, hey, I've got a surgeon who's rated a 5 out of 10, would you go to that surgeon?
No.
If you wanted to impress somebody at a beautiful restaurant for their like milestone birthday, and I said, hey, this restaurant's chill, it's rated a 5 out of 10, would you go?
No, I'm a 10 or a 9 at least, right? Like,
but here's the thing. Many of us are living a status quo life.
That's so good. Yeah.
So we are living at a 5 out of 10. We can't even fathom what it takes to get to an 8 or a 9. And so Beyond the Quo really is about pushing beyond our own version of what's my boundary, what's beyond this skin I'm in, what's beyond this body size that I have that isn't perfect and Instagram worthy, what's beyond this relationship that I've been in that's not fulfilling me, what's beyond the status quo. And so I dropped status and just said quote to make it cool, but it really it really taps into raw and honest conversations with humans that are living beyond the quo. Like me, I feel like I stepped out of everything that felt comfortable, but for me, it took a big, jarring medical issue. For some of us, it's probably a job we've been in for 10 years where there is no passion, there is no spark. You get up, get in the car, you kind of just check the boxes, right? So listeners can expect real stories, right? A lot of them are disruptors, unfiltered conversations. We cuss a little bit.
No, we being authentic, right?
But at the end of it, I want people to really walk away with true real life stories, but also strategies are important to me.
Yes.
Here are some basic things you can do. And some of it is astronomically, it'll take a couple of years to truly transform, but most of it are 1 or 2 tiny little millimeter shifts that you can take for immediate kind of living outside the quote. So I love it. Tune in, follow me. It's a great deal.
I love it. So thank you so much. So there's something else, like you have so much to share. And so you have a membership, real quick, for the unique benefits of the Living Beyond Movement membership. Now, what does that offer women seeking support? Look, support is so important, especially when you talk about burnout. So what benefits does that offer to women seeking support and empowerment?
As I moved up in my career, I felt lonelier and lonelier. In my early 40s, I was a GS-15, which in federal government is as close to being a senior executive as you can. And I was on the fast track, right? And it was lonely. My peers were oftentimes 15, 20 years ahead of me. I felt boxed in. And I looked around even the corporate world, and it was getting harder and harder. I think there was a study by McKinsey that showed as you moved up, in the director executive roles, the percentages for women steadily declined, early 20s, or for women of color, it's in the 2% or 3% category. And I wanted a space where the women I worked with, whether it was clients, collaborators, partners, friends, like just people that were on fire, and were also women of color, could safely talk about things that we didn't have to explain. Whether it was unconscious bias, whether it was, my hair, whether it was all of these things that we have to hide in order to be successful. And I couldn't find that space. And I tried, right? UN Women. I did all the boards, every single board. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to create our own table. I'm going to create our own space. And I'm just going to invite people. And so it's a free community. It's for women of color leaders. And I will say that it's not a leadership and title, like the title of leadership. You can lead from where you are. It's about reclaiming your inner power, your purpose. It's about embracing authentic leadership. And the best part is you create meaningful connections. I will say that LinkedIn post that I hesitated to put out, I think there were about 20 women last night that joined the community. People are sharing it. People are standing in solidarity. And so as scared as I was to kind of post that, and scared is the right word. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, it's my moment to shine. Your voice is shaking and you're doing it anyway.
Right.
And so for me, the permission for us to dream bigger together, to strategize together, to invest together. And I want to shout out Arlen Hamilton for her Arlen's All Access community, of which I am a member, where she is a powerful voice that just drags you along for the ride. And she not only inspires you, but demands that you step into the arena in a way that we haven't before. So it's been a journey. But yeah, that community is free. I'd love for everybody to join.
Yes, look, viewers, did you hear? It's free. And so I just love the fact that you're taking your purpose and your mission and you're providing all these resources. And some of them you're like, hey, just come and get empowered and get the support. And so, Stacey, thank you so much for sharing your incredible insight with us today. Everybody, you can keep up with her at StaceyLuces.com and also Stacey Luces is LUCES on Instagram. And everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back after the commercial.
Content-driven world, podcasts are no longer just a trendy platform. They're a necessity for anyone looking to build influence, grow a brand, or create meaningful connections. Did you know 78% of podcast listeners don't skip ads? Or that podcasting has helped influencers grow their audience by over 25% in just 1 year? Podcasts allow you to speak directly to your audience, creating a bond that's personal, authentic, and powerful. They provide a platform to elevate your message and build a community around your voice. At the Connect Network TV, we bring your vision to life. With our expertise in storytelling and sound engineering, we make it easy to create a podcast that resonates deeply with your audience. From start to finish, we're here to guide you every step of the way. Our process is designed for results. Podcasts help you grow your audience, amplify your brand, and create a meaningful impact. Whether you're an entrepreneur, influencer, or creative, the world is ready to hear your voice. With the Connect Network TV, you're not just starting a podcast, you're building a legacy.
If your business targets people over 40 and you're not running TV commercials during their favorite shows, you're missing a huge opportunity for sales and brand recognition. TV commercials are one of the most powerful ways to reach this audience, with millions tuning into their favorite programs. Our expert team creates high-quality TV commercials that captivate and connect with viewers. From concept to final production, we craft messages that resonate with people over 40, driving engagement and results. TV is your platform to solidify your brand's presence in a crowded market and make a lasting impression. Don't miss out. Elevate your brand with a commercial that works. Get started today at theconnectonline.com/services.
Welcome back to Major Impact, and we cannot leave without your weekend cocktail. So get your cocktail shaker ready. It is time to batch up some of the most iconic classic cocktails of all time. And luckily for you, most of these cocktails only require 2 to 3 ingredients total, which means you are never too far away from a batch of vodka martinis, some margaritas, some screwdrivers. But today, we are making the absolute perfect cosmopolitan. And so here are the ingredients. You are going to need 4 ounces of citrus vodka, 2 ounces of Cointreau, 2 ounces of cranberry juice, a little bit of juice from a half of a lime, some ice, and you're also going to want some lime and some cranberries for the garnish. And so step number 1, you add your vodka, your Cointreau, your cranberry juice, your lime juice to a cocktail shaker, fill it all up with ice, and shake until it is well chilled. And then number 2, strain your drink into a martini glass and make sure you garnish it with that lime and that cranberries to top it off so it'll look absolutely perfect. So the point is to save your cash, put it in your piggy bank, and make that delicious meal with your cocktail and have an absolute great weekend. And do not forget to follow us on social media at the Connect Network TV. Join the conversation, interact with us, share, comment. We love hearing from you. And I am your host, Terry Kauser. You can follow me on Instagram at Care Credit Tools and on YouTube at Terry Kauser, the credit expert. And do not forget, you can catch past episodes and binge watch them Netflix style on our website at theconnectonline.com. And so we hope that you have enjoyed this episode. A ton of great information was shared, and we will see you next week right here on Major Impact. Stay inspired, stay impactful, and we will see you next time.